Hello there, wonderful people. We're thrilled that you've chosen to join us today on New Horizon Updates. This video is your gateway to a deeper understanding of this subject matter. Engage with the content and enrich your knowledge. The Middle East is currently a hotspot of escalating tensions, following a flurry of warnings to the Israeli army delivered through the realm of social media. These warnings have emerged amidst Israel's aggressive operations against Iran, causing experts to speculate on the potential shift in regional dynamics. Iran has issued stern warnings against Israel's ongoing Gaza operations, even hinting at possible intervention. In the face of these threats, both the Israeli military and President Netanyahu have chosen to stand firm, emphasizing their readiness to respond to any threat. They have also highlighted the steady progress of their operations in Gaza. While adverse weather conditions have delayed a planned ground assault on Gaza, effective air support has been seen in action in Gaza, a crucial precursor to any ground offensive. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has sent shockwaves across the Middle East. Tensions have spread from the Egyptian border through Gaza, reaching as far as the Lebanese and Syrian borders. Hamas has attacks on several fronts, including the city of Tel Aviv, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. In a major move, Israel initiated a large-scale airstrike with a clear aim: to take out top Hamas leaders, especially in the Gaza Strip and neighboring settlements. The key target was the so-called Nubi unit, believed to be responsible for a string of operations directed by senior Hamas officials. Israel maintains that this unit has played a crucial role in infiltration activities into both Israel and Gaza. The IDF has reported the elimination of several high-ranking Hamas leaders and claims nearly 1,500 Hamas militants have been killed within Israel's borders. Approximately 35,000 homes in Gaza have been affected by aerial strikes, leading to an estimated death toll of around 2,000 and causing some 4,500 injuries. Israeli Merava tanks have been sighted near the official boundary of the Gaza Strip, sparking speculation about a possible ground invasion. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant have been discussing the potential for a ground invasion into Gaza, particularly in light of the loss of numerous Hamas officials. Recent artillery fire in and around Gaza has resulted in casualties among the ranks of Hamas. In turn, Hamas has issued threats of retaliation if their conditions, including halting the extensive bombardment of Gaza, are not met. They warn of dire consequences, including the execution of hostages, though no such actions have been reported as yet. The ongoing captivity of Israeli hostages by Hamas remains a pressing concern for Israel. Meanwhile, the people of Gaza continue to face a desperate situation due to Israel's strict blockade, which severely limits the transport of goods and essentials. The Rafah crossing into Egypt remains a bottleneck, with many Palestinians seeking escape from the conflict being turned away by Egypt, which appears reluctant to get involved. The Middle East is currently in the grip of rising tensions. A significant contributor to this strain is Egypt, which is facilitating the transit of refugees through its territory, a fact attested to by its president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Concurrently, the citizens of Gaza find themselves in an escalating predicament, caught between the ever-increasing hostilities involving Hamas and the broader populace. The call for peace has been echoed globally, with international leaders striving to find a resolution to this ongoing conflict. Pope Francis has not only urged for the release of all hostages by Hamas, but also acknowledged Israel's right to self-defense. The actions of Israel have been criticized as excessive by Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The need for humanitarian aid for the Palestinians has been underscored by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who also hinted at possible reconsideration of the EU's financial assistance. The proliferation of the conflict through social media in this digital age has led the EU to call on tech giants to misleading content and online aggression pertaining to the Israel-Hamas conflict. The broader geopolitical landscape offers a multifaceted view of the situation, with questions about the balance of power coming to the fore. Reports are suggesting that Hamas might be ill-equipped to challenge Israel independently. The possibility of Israel facing challenges on multiple fronts, including threats from the West Bank, activities by Hezbollah, and Iranian-backed factions in Syria, is under discussion. Iran's pivotal role in these dynamics is garnering attention, with the categorization of both Hamas and Hezbollah as Iranian affiliates by the US. As the face-off continues, the possibility tensions between Israel and Iran escalating, potentially drawing in the US into the conflict, is being considered. Despite his vocal criticisms of Israel, Turkey's President Erdogan appears to be open to mediating a resolution, a role that is being emphasized by the US administration. The recent escalation between the Israeli army and Hamas stemmed from a missile attack on the city of Ashkelon. The Israeli Air Force retaliated with bombings targeting the Gaza port and Hamas positions, and carried out operations in varying directions. Hezbollah, acting as an Iranian proxy in Lebanon, has been launching attacks against Israel, escalating the present tensions. Israeli forces countered these attacks by conducting operations along the northern border, destroying Hezbollah outposts. An attack launched from Lebanon against Israel saw Hezbollah militants firing an anti-tank missile at a military outpost along the Lebanese border. Israeli jets responded by targeting Hamas headquarters, bunkers, and convoys, destroying many targets. However, the Israeli army also suffered casualties due to Hezbollah's attacks. The recurrence of fire exchanges between Israeli forces and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah along the border have resulted in casualties on the Israeli side. Tensions along Israel's northern border with Lebanon have escalated to a point where a suspected airspace violation from Lebanon into Israel prompted Israeli officials to instruct residents of several northern communities to seek immediate shelter. Unfortunately, an application meant to alert residents malfunctioned due to a glitch, leading to widespread confusion. The situation persisted for a couple of hours until clarification was made. A spokesman stated on social media that while there were reports of an airspace violation from the Lebanese border, the threat of infiltration has been dismissed for the time being. Israeli officials remained silent on the nature of the airspace violation, although speculations on social media hinted that it possibly involved paragliders not dissimilar to those used by certain groups for attacks on southern Israel. Subsequent reports indicated that drones might have been involved. Simultaneously, lighting flares were reportedly fired into southern Lebanon. Residents in the areas where the warning was issued were asked to enter safe zones and stay put until further notice. Distress signals were heard in various northern Israeli cities, with residents advised to secure their homes, prepare for a prolonged stay with necessities like water and bedding, and seek shelter. Instructions were issued following a widespread attack in the north, but no additional details were provided. As events unfolded, it was reported that there were no intrusions, and fortunately, no casualties were reported either. The spokesman acknowledged the issue and attributed it to a glitch. He emphasized that no such instructions had been given. This incident transpired amidst growing worry that Hezbollah might become a participant in the ongoing conflict. The group's possession of a significant cache of long-range assault weapons further fuels the regional tensions. The involvement of Hezbollah in the ongoing conflict poses a substantial challenge for Israel, given their highly skilled and well-equipped combatants. The context necessitates dealing with robust air defenses and the potential for a ground war, which could considerably strain Israel's military forces. In response to this growing threat, the United States has rallied and dispatched the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier strike group to the eastern Mediterranean, solidifying its presence off the Israeli coast as of Tuesday. The escalating conflict between Israel and Hamas is taking its toll on the civilian population, generating daily hardships and adversities. The Gaza Strip is grappling with a severe power outage, as the only power plant has been forced to shut down due to fuel shortages. Consequently, power rationing has been implemented to ensure emergency services can continue to operate and save lives. Concurrently, Israel has enforced a comprehensive blockade on the Palestinian territories, prohibiting the delivery of essential supplies, including food, water, and fuel. As the conflict rages on, thousands of foreign nationals find themselves trapped in Israel and Palestine since the outbreak of hostilities. Numerous European nations have initiated or are planning repatriation operations to bring their citizens home safely. The situation remains dynamic, with the anticipation of further developments. As of Friday, Israel ordered over 1 million residents in northern Gaza Strip to evacuate, hinting toward a possible escalation of the conflict by amassing more military forces around the territory. However, this directive has been met with criticism from the United Nations and various international aid and rights groups, questioning its validity and legality, and urging Israel to retract it. Initially, the Israeli military stipulated a 24-hour deadline for the evacuation. However, this stance was later softened, acknowledging that the process would require more time. The widespread anticipation of an impending Israeli ground offensive is palpable, following the call-up of 360,000 reservists and the strategic positioning of several units in the southwestern region. In the border territory of Gaza, the regions of southern, northern, northeastern, and western Israel were under the threat of rocket attacks. This followed a ferocious assault by Hamas in southern Israel that unfortunately led to several casualties. The tension was such that there was a risk of the conflict stretching to the Lebanese frontier, where Hezbollah soldiers were prepared for a possible attack. In a strategic move, the Israeli forces took aim at Syria's chief international airports in Damascus and Aleppo, putting them out of action. Consequently, flights were rerouted to an airport in the charming coastal city of Latakia. These operational strikes were the result of artillery shells cast from Syria into Golan Heights, which is currently under Israeli control. Recently, intermittent violence disrupted the calm on the Lebanese-Israeli borderline, leading to the unfortunate loss of 3 Hezbollah soldiers. Iran vocalized strong backing for the Palestinian resistance, while denying any involvement in the Hamas onslaught on Israel. The Iranian Foreign Minister, Hassan Amir Abdollahian, during his visit to the region, cautioned about the potential for new battle lines in the Israel-Hamas conflict. He interacted with various key figures, one of them being Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, and urged the U.S. to control Israel to prevent a full-blown regional clash. Abdollahian requested a meeting of foreign ministers in the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to discuss the explosive Gaza situation. While in Beirut, he stressed the importance of maintaining Lebanon's security and stability. U.S. President Joe Biden cautioned against Iran stoking the conflict, expressing apprehensions about Iran's involvement in the Hamas attack. However, the U.S. had yet to discover concrete evidence of Iran's participation in the planning or execution of the attack, even though the magnitude and intricacy of the assault suggests the possibility of outside backing, possibly from Iran. Iran's history is deeply entwined with supporting groups in the region. Praise was given by Tehran for the recent operation, while foreign intervention was firmly rejected. The country's diplomatic mission to the United Nations voiced that the assault was autonomous and in step with the legitimate interests of the Palestinian people. Yet, these affirmations face contradiction with claims of Iran's military backing for Hamas, with a particular spotlight on missile and rocket systems development in the past year, equating to Gaza's capabilities. In the recent past, indications are mounting of Iran and its associated entities taking a more assertive position against Israel. Within this landscape, General Esmail Ghaani, the chief of Iran's paramilitary Quds Force with oversight responsibilities for Iran's proxy militias, has been reported to have secret meetings in Lebanon with leaders of Hamas and the Iranian-supported Hezbollah. His efforts center around coordinating and streamlining Iran's proxy forces. An extensive online meeting was also held by Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, with key strategists from Iranian militias. The discourse revolved around making preparations for a comprehensive war with Israel, including the consideration of a ground invasion. Some sources allude to a confidential group of leaders from Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas who had planned the attack over a year ago, trained militants, and were aware of the attack in advance. Israel has accused Iran of providing an annual support of around $100 million to Hamas. Acknowledgement was given by the U.S. State Department in 2021 for the group receiving funding, weapons, training from Iran, and some monetary contribution from Gulf Arab states. The recent operation's potential involvement by Iran could be a significant game-changer for the ongoing conflict, potentially signaling a wider Iranian involvement as the war progresses.